but you're just talking, hey, this mountain peak's at 3,000 meters.
It's pulling elevations because the A-10A, you have to everything in the weapons computer, the CCIP, so constantly computed impact point, or constantly computed release point. The jet can't do the trigonometry on its own. It has to have a target elevation because it knows where it is, but it doesn't know where it's pointing. And so back in the A model, you had to have an accurate elevation to have an accurate weapon solution. And so that's how unless the JTAC can pull the elevation for you, then you're plotting it, like you said earlier, with a grease pen on a 1-50 map, and you're pulling the elevation off the contours and manually plugging it into the jet to get a weapon solution.
So I do want to go back from like Bahrain getting into country, but I think to paint the picture for those listening, and even myself, right? We talk about the technical aspects of employing a weapon, right? And those elevations and those trains. How difficult was it? Because I've heard A-10 guys who were flying the A-10, in the 90s. I think there's a 60-degree attack. I don't know how often that would be, but do like 30-degree, 20-degree, 45-degree type attacks. I imagine that's what you're fencing in to go do, because you don't have smart weapons, so you're not driving on a line. You're going to be diving at the mountainside, which the mountainside could be 8,000, 12,000 feet high. So can we talk about the technical aspects and the difficulties of what's going through your mind if it's time to roll in and drop, and then we will transit back to Bahrain, getting into country.
So we, our deliveries are mills. So, we refer to them as your mills, which is your delivery parameters, mills short for milliradians, which is the depression in the HUD. So go all the way back to World War II, it's the little dot where it goes in the heads up display. So in this case, we do anything from a 10, a 15, 20, 30, 45, and a 60. And everything is in the A-10A is straight up like what you're watching World War II Vietnam, where you look over the canopy and you roll in. And so my references are grease marks on the canopy. So, the 45 is right at the canopy bow. A fist is 30 degrees. A fist and a thumb is 20 degrees. And I can mark all these with a grease pen on the glass on either side of me. And so I come up alongside what the target is. I make sure the target is on that appropriate line. So in this case, 45s is our go-to, I would say, daytime, when you're delivering what we would refer to as dumb bombs or strafe. 45 degree, the more you increase your dive angle, it's sheer, think of a flashlight, right? It's you're decreasing your dispersion of the weapon. And so the steeper you are, the more accurate it is. I mean, 60-degree dive bombs, you drive nails. That's a sporty delivery.
That's steep.
Right. I mean, it's a 1,500 foot min altitude for that delivery. So it can get your attention real quick, and especially if you're not doing it right. But 45s was what our plan was, a high altitude dive bomb versus a normal dive bomb. So that recovers me above, 4,500 feet. The idea behind that delivery is to keep you out of small arms range, so that you still have a good accuracy, a good, dive angle, but you're not getting all the way down to 1,000 feet, which would be a normal dive bomb recovery. And so you're balancing risk and accuracy. And so in this case, like you said, the real challenge was the valley floor was at 8,000 feet. So, when you start talking about base altitude of about 14 AGL above ground, that's 22,000 feet MSL. For a Viper guy, that ain't a big deal. For a Hog guy flying a 48,000 pound airplane with 18,000 pounds of thrust, it's a big deal. Yeah, you're a pig. It's a pig in space. And so we went through those considerations, but that was, and the other thing that was kind of oh, by the way, as I was stepping out the door, the one thing I did know was at the time there was a 10,000 foot hard deck, and we're not operating in that, not at an 8,000 foot target elevation.
Right.
And the group commander, Face Nichols, told me, he goes, Don't worry about the ROE. Don't worry about any of it. You go do what is tactically required and smart. I will cover you on the rest of it. And so that's what we decided to do was, okay, we'll do a 45 high altitude dive bomb as our kind of our baseline delivery.
Yeah, I mean, you've painted the picture. The appreciation I have just thinking about it. So, you know, obviously the new operating environment, you know, it's not been established for 15 years, right? But going to fly in the mountainous terrain, you know, sitting there looking, setting off your grease mark, the roll in, right? But terrain is changing underneath you.